Hey guys, today we'll be discussing two games of chess, both of which ended in a draw. One of them ended in a stalemate, another one ended in a draw. So let's see how these games proceed. So the first game that you're seeing right now, I was playing white and my opponent was in black. So we started off with e4, e5, a typical standard opening with knight to c4 and yeah, pretty much standard opening. So that So here was the first blunder of my opponent as per the engine, and then immediately I also blundered without giving any chance. Let's see why was this actually a blunder, why was this move a blunder. So the engine is recommending that we should have played this move, and then the black would have taken our rook and then we would have captured them, and then so as per the engine they're suggesting that next move should have been over here, the pawn, and then we should have captured it, and the best course of action for the queen was to escape it to a different pawn, and then followed by our bishop attacking their rook and then trying to defend it with their knight, us capturing their pawn. But if you look at it, actually it's like although the move is said to be a blunder by black, if you actually look at it material wise they are higher, they are having more material than us. They have both their rooks, both their knights, one bishop and queen. We have got both our knights, both our bishops, and one rook and one queen. So basically we are down one rook, but I think the point here is that we are positionally in a much better space. As you can see that the queen is almost exposed over here. The rook is immobile, both their rooks are immobile currently, and even the queen or their knight, they're kind of in a tough spot, so probably that could have been the reason. But let's just play some more and see what was the reason why the engine kept saying that this was a blunder. Now see, typically when we see games like this, we know that our rook is of higher value than giving a check, or we would immediately go and capture it. On top of that, it's literally available for free. There's nothing that is going to capture it as well. So but still it's the engine is saying that go and give a check. So let's do that and see. It seems the engine is saying the king to move further inside. think this finally is where I think the positions are getting set up. Like now we can finally see what is happening. See, the king is completely exposed over here, and we have our queen which is going to attack in this line. And yeah, as you can see, the queen also is kind of squished in between everything. There's hardly anything for the queen to do over here. The point is, see, so the engine said that in the 10th move there was a mistake made by, in the 9th move there was a mistake made by the black, and it's been 25th move, so 15 moves later we are kind of seeing the the results of you can see. So we are still in 29th move, and we are still not up material. We are up pawns, definitely. As you can see, there are only 3 pawns for black, and we have got total 7 pawns. But yes, there is they have got a rook, and we have got 2 bishops. So that's the difference. But the point is that as I was mentioning in the previous video as well, whenever engines recommend that blunders and everything, the point is you cannot really look at those mistakes right away. They typically tend to show themselves up after a long period of time. For that, like I said, you need to have a lot of practice, you need to play a lot of games. You should be probably at a more 2000, 2400 kind of rated. That's when probably you will be able to look at the moves the way they have mentioned. Anyways, let's go back to the game that we had originally played. So again, the engine is saying that I had made a blunder over here, but also even the opponent had made a blunder. This was actually a neat move, clearly visible that since the queen and the king are in the same line, had I taken my rook over here and then rook to g3, it would have been the queen would have had no option but to play it. So that's why at this point the engine had recommended that, but then I had played something else because I was planning on entering into the king side completely. So now I was doing what the engine had earlier recommended. Yeah, as you can see over here. So as of now, if you look at a 29th move, we are we have a rook and a queen, and black has got 2 rooks. So in that sense, yes, as you can see, there is clearly a strong upper hand for white, which is what I was in this position. And from here, let's see how I ended up jeopardizing my game. The main reason being, as you can see, it was shortage of time. Of course, both of us were on shortage of time, but I guess I was probably under a little more pressure. So if you look at it, what black is right now trying to do is they have set up both their rooks, and they are trying to attack the g2 pawn, basically give a check. And since there is a supporting rook, I would not be able to capture it with my king. So I should ideally have been playing something else. As you can see, there was a clear checkmate position over here, and again checkmate position was there, but I seem to have played really not so great today. Again, the recommendation is something else, and the opponent played clearly something else. So let's see what the engine is suggesting. How should I have actually played? Given a check, and then they would have moved here, and then I would have given a check, and then since there's no way they cannot go downwards, they would have moved here, and then I would have, I think it was basically a barrage of checks actually. Yeah, so as you can see, it's almost not possible in any ways for black to win from this position. So that's why the engine was saying that checkmate was unavoidable. But then I played completely something else. As you can see, I finally traded off the rooks, and I had the pawn, so on top of that I was more closer to the getting it converting to a queen. But this is where endgames, learning about endgames becomes so much important. As you can see, I'm going to make a blunder over here. I should have ideally played the next move right over here, so that the black king would have moved, and then I would have played this, and he would have had no option but to play some other position, and yeah, I would have gotten a queen. And yes, there is no way now. It another unavoidable check situation. But here's where I made a mistake. I ended up playing my king, which as you can see by the weight meter as well, that suddenly it became, there was no way for me to win from here. So that is the stalemate. Since the king is not under check, on top of that there is no legal move for the black king to make, so this ended in a stalemate. So that's one of the games which I played, and kind of shows how you need to understand your positions, your pieces, and also you need to have a good understanding of end game so that you will be able to win those matches. So this was the game which I lost. So I will show you another. In this one I was playing a white, opponent was black. This was also a game which ended in a draw. Let's see how this one happened. So again e4, e5, standard opening, followed by knight to f3. This was definitely a blunder. I recognized it the moment I made this, because it was what is called as a calculation error. So the thing is this, as you can see, white as of now I had slightly upper hand, but I was basically the knight was pinned because of my bishop, and it was semi-protected by the queen. Being a higher valued piece, I would definitely not have traded for the, had I taken with my bishop the knight, they would have taken my bishop with their bishop. I wouldn't have done a trading with my queen. But the point being is that that's exactly why I thought, okay, let me move my knight over here so that it would be equal weightage. But there was a calculation error on my part, and that's why you see, as you can see, the engine is saying that it was a big blunder, and definitely you can see that black clearly has gained upper hand at this point in the game, and black did not waste any move. They definitely utilized everything that they had. Although I was down a piece, but I decided to trade the queens because I thought it would be positionally. As you can see, the king is currently now on a vacant file, which is not exactly such a great position to be in. So that was the thought process behind because of which I actually took the traded of the queens. Yeah, as you can see, queen is completely exposed here. The king is completely exposed over here. It's not such a great position to be in. You can get checkmated anytime. As you can see, almost there was no move over which the king black pieces made any mistake. Up until we are talking about in the entire game, there was only one blunder which was made by me, and opponent had made no mistakes. We are all in the higher 1400 rating, so that's why I'm showing this game. This was really I really enjoyed this game actually. And then I again made a mistake over here by bringing in my king directly close. Although the engine is recommending that he should have played this side, giving me a check. Which would have been even worse. as you can see, this game would have been a lost game had this been the position. But then it's pretty normal human tendency to play normal human games. So yeah, the black, basically black rook wanted to trade off pieces, because it was pretty obvious that they had four pawns and a knight, whereas I was with 3 pawns and just the king. So pretty much makes sense. That is how typically we tend to think, that this is not a game that you would tend to lose from here on. But then knight is a little tricky. Ideally you would want rook to be in these kinds of positions, because it is far more easier to take away the pieces. But with knight it's a little bit tricky, and I tried my best to keep moving forward with in the given situation. As you can see, even now black is completely dominating the game. There is really no chance for me. Supposedly this was supposed to be a game that was supposed to be lost, and this, you see, is where black made their first blunder. So what happened is, basically there was what you call is a calculation error. It's called a calculation error because black presumed that even if they let me take the knight, they would be just 3 more steps away, and they would end up making a queen, and it would be more than sufficient, instead of going around and probably deliberating further. But then there was a calculation error over here, and you will see what happens. So step 1, I made my first step. Step 2, I made my second step, and step 3, and black made their queen, which is what they had planned. But also at the same time, I ended up making my queen. So we are now almost the same material, and as long as no one would have made a mistake, this should have ended in a draw, and that is how it actually ended up being. So as you can see, even there is no upper hand for anybody over here. Both were equal weighted over here. We did play a few moves further, and none of us wanted to actually end up giving up a draw, because the thing was, my pawn was it was in the 5th position. I just needed to make 3 more moves, and I would have had my pawn would have been upgraded to a queen or any other piece that I wanted it to. So I was waiting for a blunder to happen, some mistake to be made, which if you wait long enough sometimes tends to happen. So don't give up on your game so easily. Just wait for some more time. Finally, after 10 moves, we decided to trade our queens. There was, like I said, there wasn't much to do over here. This was a draw game. Yeah, so draw due to insufficient material. So the point is, I wanted to tell you, is that end games are very important. Learn about end games, and also play games. Don't really give up so quickly. I see a lot of games where people make a mistake, and then they lose a piece, and then they suddenly resign from the game because they think that it's kind of like a lost cause. I would suggest those are the kinds of games which actually help you develop yourself as a player. You will become a much better player, because you are playing with lesser material than your opponent, and you are now trying to make the best use of the situation. So try it till you think it makes sense, but to each their own choice. All the best. Thanks for watching.